And welcome back to another episode of Cafe Lily with your hosts, Rosa and Kelsey. Kelsey and Rosa.
Hello, Rosa. Very glad to be here for a special episode today.
Really? What makes it so special?
We've got a very important ranking planned today. It's important for us to figure out the future of Precure duos. It's up to us.
Ooh, really?
Well, who else is going to do it?
You're right, it has to be us. So, this tier list is marked by 6 different categories. Married, divorced, dated, gay rivals, a secret third worst thing, and not dating.
Yep, I think these are all pretty self-explanatory. We don't really need to go into them. You know what goes in which tier?
Of course.
Before we get started, we gotta say, this is not an exhaustive list of Precure duos. In fact, some of the characters that we have on this list aren't even a Precure duo, but we'll get to those when we get to those. This was just a collection of characters that we felt like we could determine in this ranking.
What do you mean by we?
We? Huh. Yeah, you might have noticed that we've got 2 different videos here and 2 different rankings, and the reason for that is there are certain pairings that Rosa and I don't see eye to eye on, and I'm not willing to argue with them.
You could tell how easy it is for Kelsey to give up on their opinion. Okay, so let's start with the very first season. Nagisa and Hanukkah.
Why don't you go first? Where are you going to put them in your ranking?
Definitely married. It's just like, it makes sense. They get married, after a bit, it may be, maybe bumpy on the way there, but they get there, all it takes is Hanukkah to be pretty straightforward, because Nagisa is pretty stupid.
Well, I'm going to show my hand a little bit early, and I'm putting Nagisa and Hanukkah pretty firmly in not dating.
Not dating.
No, never. They never dated. I think that no matter how straightforward Hanukkah is with Nagisa, she's not going to get it through her thick head that Hanukkah likes her that way. And, maybe Hanukkah will be sad about it for a little bit. She'll listen to some sad love songs, but pretty quickly she's going to realize that she can do better than Nagisa, and she's going to move on.
Why do you hate Nagisa so much?
I don't hate her. I just have a very particular vision for her character.
I see. So like a disaster.
Something like that. Let's move on to the next. Your favorites.
What do you mean just my favorites? You're not your favorites either?
I like Splash Star, but I couldn't claim to be as big a fan of Sakimai as you are.
That's true. Of course, they're definitely getting married, I don't think that guy in Otona will do anything about it. Like, I know they're gonna get married. It just makes sense.
I can't argue with that, and I agree with you. I'm going to put them in married as well.
Oh, first one to agree with. Now, who's the next one?
Next up, we've got Karen and Kurumi from Yes 5. What do you think of them?
Well, if Otona is a big indicator, Kurumi wants what she wants, and she'll have Karen and Sam in marriage.
I love that for them, and you know what? I haven't seen Otona, but from what I've heard about it from you, I would definitely also put them in married.
Good. Now, what's next? Ah, yes. Love and Setsuna.
Setsuna!
Forced marriage. Love. She loves her. Love went, out of her way to do her best to take care of Setsuna, to bring her to a nice, loving home, to make her feel welcome, to make her feel loved. Of course, that will result in marriage.
Once again, I have a bit of a difference of opinion on these two. As much as I love Fresh Precure, it's one of, in my opinion, the best seasons of the show. What happens to the characters after the show ends is a real blind spot for me, and I just can't visualize what any of these characters' futures are. Like, as far as I'm concerned, when the show ends, they just stop existing. So, for that reason, I'm going to put them in secret third worst thing.
Ooh, that's very fascinating. It kind of did just happen abruptly. Now, we're on to Inori and Larry.
Notably, not a Precure duo. This is something that you just made up.
Oh yeah, I did. I felt like we need a bit of like wild cards here and there, so I added this one in.
I love it. And I think that this is a very legendary pairing. Everyone go and read Inori's prayer on Petal and Leaf right now. Your life will be changed. Well, since you're the visionary behind Inori's prayer, where are you putting these two?
I'm gonna put in secret third worst thing.
Okay, I think that's a good spot for them.
Yes, but I want you to understand my reasoning. So, when I wrote Inori's prayer, I wrote it with the inspiration of like TK Mez, creator of Girl Last Tour and Simichi Simulation. Now, if you've seen those books, those materials, and knew how it's paced, well, you know that a lot will be going on. With Inori's Catholicism, and wherever Larry is going through, it's gonna kind of create some, like, very interesting scenarios.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. I'm kind of tossing up between Dated in High School and Secret Third Worst Thing, because I think either way, the relationship is not going to last that long. I think I'll put them in Dated in High School. I think that the foundation of that relationship is a little bit rocky, and it's not going to last that long. It's not going to continue forward.
You know, it'll like Christ allegory will become human, you know. So I put this prematurely, but Erika and Tsubome. Now they're an actual duo. They even set up as like a duo early in Heartcatch. But my thoughts is they're not dating.
Yep, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, of course. They're more like just best friends than anything else. I think this is one that could clearly just like completely platonic, but like they kind of just understand each other well. They're kind of like SpongeBob and Patrick in a way.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also going to put them in not dating. I don't really picture Erika dating anyone. I think she's a little bit too married to her work, and I think that anyone who she did date would have to contend with the fact that they're always going to be second to fashion in Erika's life.
Right.
But Tsubome, on the other hand, I think that maybe she'll date in high school, maybe she won't, but she'll go off to university and she'll have a realization and she will become the butch that all the girls in her course want.
Yeah, she becomes a butch, and then she sees like Itsuki years later, and like, oh, Itsuki, you got very feminine, and like at that point, the roles are reversed.
It could happen.
It could happen.
Okay, who's up next?
It's her favorite, Kanade and Hibiki, and Ellen's there.
Ellen's also there for some reason, and I'm not sure why, so I'm looking forward to your explanation on that one.
Ellen likes hanging around these two.
Like a third wheel?
Yeah, she's kind of like a third wheel, but at the same time she's not. It's kind of hard to explain, but I can imagine like Hibiki and Kanade like arguing about something mundane while holding hands, and like one of them is just like kind of like petting Ellen to the side. Well, she's just like playing on her Game Boy or something.
You think that Ellen is their secret third worst thing?
Kinda. I don't think she's directly have any romantic involvement with those two. She's just there.
I don't think I'm smart enough to understand your vision for this. Like, I think this is something on a level that I can't reach. Ellen, I don't know about her, but Hibiki and Kanade, I think maybe they will, maybe they won't. If they do try dating one day, I don't think it'll be a permanent thing. They'll end up deciding that they're better as friends. But I think that they will be friends for life. I think they will be involved in each other's lives forever. if they have kids, they are going to be godmother to each other's kids. That's how it's going to be in their future. But I'm going to just put them in dated in high school.
But not divorced.
No, they're not divorced because they weren't married.
But they have divorce energy.
They do have a little bit of divorce energy, but having divorce energy and actually being divorced are not comparable.
Fair enough. Now, next one is Mana and Rika. Mana is also here twice. One with Rika and the other with Regina. Now, I would say she's married with Rika, and a third worst thing with Regina.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from.
Of course, it's been said in the show before, like Rika's like a wife to Mana, and like she wants to like be by her side, be her bird to the happy prince. But Regina, Mana will love both Regina and Rika, so this is a bit of a compromised relationship, but that's how it is. You know, technically Mana has 2 wives, but Regina does not care for the label of like marriage or wife, just cause she's a wild card like that.
Okay. I think that's fitting. Doki Doki is a pretty complicated season. It would make sense to have complicated relationships.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on Regina and Mana being in secret third worst thing, but I'm going to put Mana and Rika in not dating. I think that Rika is deeply in love with Mana, but she doesn't have it in her to confess because she is just assuming that Mana is straight. And she goes through it. She's like, it's so hard being a lesbian in love with your straight best friend. And she gets pretty miserable about it. But she gets over it. But she stays friends with Mana. And then one day, they're meeting up. They're adults now. They meet up in a bar together. Mana gets a little bit drunk. And she confesses to Rika. She's like, oh my god, at one point I had such a crush on you. You're not going to believe it. And Rika is just kicking herself under the table. She's like, oh my god, why didn't I shoot my shot back then?
Oh my god. You just love it when like lesbians are like disasters.
Alright, let's move on to the next then, who are also notably not a Precure duo.
But a very notable pair.
Yeah, we got to give a shout out to our friend Eve, who worked on the Pretty Comedy Corner with us.
Yes. So this was like inspired by that. So, what's your vision?
Hime and Iona. Well, you go first. What do you think?
Divorced.
Oh, you think divorced?
So as we know, they would probably date a bit. You know, a little after middle school, a little after in high school. And then maybe they go up to marriage. They're married for a bit, but like, you know, Iona would probably think, no, I can handle Hime. I know how to take care of Hime. Then they realize like how much work it is. Like, Hime is too much. Hime needs her meter refilled so many times. I'm doing my best to be supportive of her, but like, she's also not like paying attention to me properly, or just ignores her, or just breaks windows. It's like she's like also too Hime, I'm not sure if I can go on like this anymore. Something has to change.
Her meter instantly depletes.
Right. And he was like, my meter's, oh no, my meter's empty. And then I was like, I see how it is. Signs the divorce papers.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think that's a very interesting vision for these two.
Yeah, it's kind of incomprehensible, but I think that's like par for the course for a character like Himelda.
Most of all, I just can't believe you got to the divorce tier before I did.
Yeah. Where are you putting them in?
I'm not putting them in divorce, I'm putting them in secret third worst thing. I don't think that their relationship is romantic. I think it's more like one that a person has with their emotional support animal.
And who's the animal?
Iona. Okay, who's up next? Haruka and Minami.
They're very iconic. I have not seen Gold Princess, but what I see of them, they're very close knit, and Haruko seems to be very attached to Minama. So I would say they would probably make it work.
Yeah, I think that they make for a very sweet and simple pairing. That's very nice of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them in dated in high school. I think that maybe they'll stay together for a little bit, but, no spoilers for the ending of Go Princess, but I think that part of what makes the ending work is some of the scenes that they show in the end, in the time skip, and my understanding of the time skip is that they are not married.
I see.
What about the other Go Princess pairing that we've got on the list?
Kira and Toa.
I know these two are a very popular pairing, and I understand why, but I'm going to put them in not dating because I think that neither of them would get to the point where they're ready to confess to each other before the final episode.
Interesting. I would say they're a secret third worst thing. Not in like a negative or pejorative sense, but more like in a mysterious sense. Like there's more that could be going on under the hood that we don't know about. Now we're done with Gold Princess. Let's go to Maho Precure. Give me your perspective. I would like to hear from you first.
Okay, married.
Very straightforward. No notes.
No notes. Like, just go and watch the last episode of the show, and you'll understand.
Go watch the last episode and the next season.
Oh god, please don't let this age terribly when the sequel season comes out.
Yeah. Okay, next one is Ichika and Seal.
What do you see for them?
Gay rivals.
Ooh.
I could see them getting married, but for most of their 20s, since Seal will be a famous pastier as an adult, and Ichika will be a traveling one, and maybe in their adult life, they kind of seek to rival each other in order to improve each other, to take notes, to learn more from each other. So I just think gay rivals just make sense for these two.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I like the way that you explained that. I'm going to put them in married anyway, because I think that what you said is true, but I can easily see them having the kind of relationship where they're okay with being separate for long periods of time, and maybe they don't talk every day, but that's alright because they're adults, they don't need that kind of thing, their love is strong anyway.
Yeah, true. That's beautiful. Now, would you like to take the helm for this one?
No, I would not dare take it away from you.
Ooh, Ayui and Himari?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely married. Himari would probably love hanging around with like Ayui, going on tours and checking it out. Like, it's not gonna stop her from like her research. Like she could travel around, bring her research, and she wouldn't mind. Now, what do you think?
I don't have a very strong vision for these two, but I'm going to put them in married anyway, because I'm also going to put the next two in married, and I'd feel bad if Aoi and Himari were the only Kira Kira duo left out of being married.
I put them in secret third worst thing.
Ooh, okay.
Like, Yukari liked to play games. She likes playing around with Akira. She knows Akira is like a bit of a dumb dog, so she plays around her. She wants to play these games. She wants Akira to play along.
Okay. Well, I trust your understanding of Yukari and Akira. I think that you understand them quite well. But I'm putting them in married anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they would be married, but I would say, like, Yukari is not simple like that. She's not straightforward like that. Now, what do you think about Hana and Ruru?
I am very fascinated by the fact that you chose this as the duo for Hugtto and not the duo that actually have dual transformation stock footage. But we have to give our shout out to Luna, who worked on the Pretty Comedy Corner with us.
Now, I was looking at the choices, like, Let me make this interesting. So I added in Hana and Ruru, and technically you could say they're a duo because from what I'm aware of, they do live together in the beginning.
Yeah, they do. Dudu lives at Hana's house as a foreign exchange student, I think.
So, what do you think? Where would you put them?
I'm gonna put them in not dating. Sorry to Luna, sorry to everyone involved. I just have no attachment to this pairing and I don't see it for them.
Fair enough, fair enough. Now, I would say dated. Now, I could see them dating for a short bit. But then eventually, like, I guess we're just better as friends. I guess it's not gonna work. Like, I guess it's not working out for her. Or, like, it's also was like a way of, like, oh, so you want to know about romance, Ruru? It's like, yeah, teach me. It's like, oh, okay. So, I could see them just dating for a bit.
Okay, I see that. Alright, next up, we have one of the most famous pairings.
Hikaru and Lala, married.
Married.
They are married. They are married. The moment Lala comes in, Hikaru runs into like a jewelry store, comes up with a wedding ring and holds it out to Lala. And Lala's like, oh my god, she got so handsome. On the spot, they get married. They've been waiting 15 years to see each other again. They're happy. Just be married right then and there.
I agree that they're married, but I don't think that it was ever romantic until they reunited. I think that they started forming a romantic relationship from that point onwards. But either way, the destination is the same.
The destination is the same. Journey could be different in all fronts, but it will be the same. Now, Elena and Madoka, definitely married.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. No, they keep in communication. They talk to each other a lot. They always reflect on like their experiences. They're the sun and the moon, and they just like look to each other for advice, comfort, to see how they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said about them, and I think that it's all true, except I just don't see it as being romantic between them. I think that they're just very close best friends.
I see. Okay. You're definitely wrong, but I would not argue.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No? Manatsu and Laura.
Married.
I would put in secret third worst thing, but they're still married in this instance.
Okay.
Because, like, whatever goes on in, like, mermaid society is always going to be, like, weird.
I think that either way, they're basically common law married at this point.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you know, we've seen that picture that Ryan drew of her vision of time skip Manatsu and Laura.
Oh, yes.
And I just think
Absolutely.
that's real. That's canon to me.
Yeah. Manatsu does have, like, the beach bum, like, vibe, but also it's like, oh, yeah, she loves studying animals. Now, next one, Mango, married.
Ooh, you think so? Well, of course you think so. This is your
Of
pairing.
course I think this is my pairing. They get married. But I would say it's a very cutesy relationship. Like, Sengo would be interested in, like, what Minoru writes about, and, like, sees Minori having, like, a bit, like, abstract visions of, like, ideals, cuteness, and stuff, and that would, like, attract her. It would make Sengo want to support her and get into more into literature. And then also, she would think it's because Minori's, like, really cute because of how short she is. And consistently throughout life, she'll probably still be, like, shorter than Sengo. So, that's my vision.
I don't think I have it in me. Like, even if I did think that something else would happen, I can't do that. I can't say anything bad about Mango because that's your pairing. So I'm gonna put them in married too.
You're scared of me. So, are you ready for this one? You know, I'll let you go. I want you to take the lead. I want to hear. I know you have, like, things to say about these pairing.
Asuka and Yuriko, divorced.
Now, tell me, why are they divorced?
I think that, as has been proven in the past, their relationship can be fragile. They have different viewpoints and different temperaments. Even though they got back together in the end, I don't think it'd last forever. I think that those differences between them would come up again in the future, and they would get married, but then it wouldn't work out.
Oh, that's sad. You know what? I can argue to that. Divorce. Alright, next one. Yui Kakone.
What do you think for these two?
I would say dated. I would say they dated in high school. They'll still be close, but I would say that... Now, this is all based on my vision for, like, Yui. Yui would want to travel around the world to make her own... Not only figure out stuff for herself, to become more of, like, an independent person, and, like, not all rely too much on her grandma. She, like, decides to travel around the world. And, like, Kakone's like, I'll support you, but I'm not sure I can handle long distances.
Okay, that's a pretty solid vision for these two, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll also put them in dated in high school.
Yeah. Now, how about Anime Ran? What do you think?
Well, I don't want to take away from your thoughts on them, because this is another one of your pairings, so why don't you go first, actually?
Yeah, alright. Married.
Okay.
This is my vision, my personal vision for these two. So I would, if we were to elaborate more on the gentler stuff, I would say this would make the more sense of these two to get close together. Cause you see sprinkles of these, but anime has a lot of reservation about her time at Gentulu and how it also affected Ran. It's been showing in like sprinkles where she was nervous of going through her family's restaurant. It did allow to have moments of like, it's okay. And you do get these episodes of like anime and Ran together. But it's also kind of strange because like also to think about it, like they kind of both these two develop a bond over time where like anime is like very remorseful, but Ran is there to like reassure like it's okay, it's not your fault, we could be friends. And it just becomes more where they get closer together, they spend a lot of time together. And, you know, when they get married, they could like do like a co-op like ramen and parfait restaurant together.
Very interesting combination.
The savory and the sweet. Now, what do you think?
I'm gonna put them in dated in high school as well. I think that this is a very cute pairing, but similarly to what you said with Yui and Kokone, I don't think that this relationship would survive potentially them going to two different universities.
They'll probably have like their own interests. But for sure, Anime will still be watching Ran through her Kirstagram.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think even if they do break up, it would be very amicable and they'd be friends for life.
Right. But let's talk about Anime Yui.
What are you thinking?
I feel like dated because I think one way or another Yui will find herself on a journey to discover more, and that will find her like having to split away from like anime in similar ways to like her and Kakone. Like I feel like if Delicious Party thought about it a bit more, it would like just show that like Yui might want to like go her separate way for a while. Now, next one, married.
Oh, I definitely agree. I'm putting these two in married as well.
Yeah, I could see them in the future where like everyone's like asking, hey, where did Sora and Mashiro go? And it's like, yeah, like weren't they here a while ago? And they hear yelling from on top of the mountain close by. It's Sora and Mashiro holding hands saying, we're getting married! Which is like part of like a Sky Alliance tradition, so it just makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That's sweet.
Yeah, it's super sweet.
This is another one that's very simple. They're getting married and that's the end of it.
Now next one. Now this one is also another wild card.
Yeah, not a Precure duo, but we've got Asumi and Ageha.
Now, they've been notable for being like the two first adults in Precure, which is kind of hilarious because like they have the first adults twice, but like the other one is on technicality. I would say they're secret third worst thing.
Okay, what makes you say that?
Asami is kind of just weird like that.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm gonna put them pretty solidly in not dating, just in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that
Just in your opinion.
this is an absolute nonsense pairing. I don't think they have a lot in common except being Precure and being adults, and people were just grasping at straws looking for someone to ship Ageha with. Asumi's got too much going on. She doesn't have time for this.
Yeah. Then again, I did saw earlier in the episode Healing Good, she was infatuated with like an Arbanus. Good for her, good for her.
There's a difference between being infatuated with someone and being in a relationship with them. I don't think it would work out.
But no, but at least you can see there's something going on in Asami's head.
She's got a couple of thoughts up there.
Now, next one is Ira, Satoru, and Mahu in this distance. They're secret third worst thing.
I had no idea what you were getting at when you told me to put them on the list. And I still don't know.
So, we know that, like, Satoru has a crush on Ira, and in the distance, Mayu is, like, obsessed with this. She's, like, making up, like, his thoughts are like, oh, look at that, you're looking at her romantically. Like, Mayu is, like, literally shipping her friends IRL. And
I'm gonna put them in not dating, and I'm also gonna put our final pair in not dating, because the way that I think about Precure characters is I don't really want to make a decision on what their relationships will be until a season is finished. I want to see where they take the characters, and after that, I'll think about what their futures are. So for the moment anyway, not dating.
now, for me, I would say Kamuki and Yuki, gay rivals.
Okay.
You know, like, Kamuki just thinks just playing, but, like, Yuki's kind of, like, annoyed. So they're kind of, like, rivals in the funny dog-cat Yuri kind of way.
I mean, we always need more dog cat Yuri in the world.
Exactly. Now, that's all the duels we had. But, you know, as they say, the future is not set. So comment below if you have your own thoughts and ideas. Oh, Kelsey, that certainly was fun.
Yeah, we may have had differing opinions, but I'm glad that we were able to come to our own conclusions. And it was interesting to hear your point of view.
Of course, and it was interesting to hear yours. Now remember, chat, the reason why we had our own separate tier list is because Kelsey is afraid to fight me.
No, we're ending the episode here. Thank you, everyone. See you next Yuri.
Okay, see you next year. Bye bye.